Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Robin-Witt. I'm the CEO of Gabather, and I would like to give you an update today, August the 8th. We're in the middle of a new mission of shares, get some funds to run Gabather. And since we published that we're going out, I got, of course, a number of questions. I've collected on all of them. And in this video, I try to answer, if not all, probably impossible, most of the questions that I've got. And as you can see in the agenda, I will focus on the timelines and the use of the funds that we're requesting for. In order to give that, of course, I have to give a short status. And of course, I also will end up with a bottom line of what I think the state of Gabather is right now. Question number one is actually the easiest to answer is what are the reasons for looking for funds? It's very straightforward. Gabather needs to extend the runway for the operations that we have ongoing, moving forward with the clinical trials I'm going to talk about later on. And for that, we need the proper resources and the funding for the next 6 to 12 months in the short range. And maybe I should also give a heads up on an apology for the reasons for the delay for this particular update. It's been very busy months in summer, believe it or not. I know that this communication form is quite popular, and all I can do is promise I'll be better and do it more frequent in the future. Now, regarding the timeline of the activities at Gabather relevant to the financial transactions right now, the status is that we will be getting in the last data of the clinical trial in healthy volunteers in the autumn, and that is two parts. One is the EEG data on certain tasks that we give as healthy volunteers, which might get some interesting data, and of course the neuroimaging fMRI data, which is coming out from the study in Portugal, and of course then the final report on that study. At the same time, the status right now is, of course, that we have started a funded clinical phase 2 trial in patients that is funded by the Innovation Fund Denmark, and is starting as we speak. This trial is very nicely on track. It started actually with an official kickoff at the beginning of June. The patients are now going to come in. Gabather is very active. We are part of the steering committee. We are part of the design of the clinical trial. Just very briefly, what kind of trial is that? It is a clinical trial in patients. 20 plus volunteers are compared to 20 plus patients suffering from schizophrenia. There's a crossover design. So everybody receives placebo, a reference compound, and GT002. EEG measurements are made, cognitive tasks are performed, and then you compare between the three groups if GT002 actually has an effect in the desired direction for the EEG pattern, and perhaps also have an effect on cognition. So in a way, this particular trial is the very goal that we had from Gabather since we started from the very beginning, is to see a therapeutic effect in patients with one of our candidate drugs. So it's very, very nice that this is ongoing. Regarding the timelines for these clinical trials, they are big, of course, they are complex, and that means that they take a long time. That's on the flip side. On the flip side, of course, is that the data that you get out is extremely relevant, of course, and the analysis of it would take quite a long time. The study itself would take 2 to 3 years. Probably it could be even longer. Experience with clinical trials is they are always tricky with getting the right number of patients through the trial. But as the trial progresses, we will start getting data out, of course. Remember, this is an investigator-driven trial, so the academic interest to publish the data, to publish the results in a public domain is very big. And so there's a very ambitious schedule of up to 8 publications that we want to get out during this clinical trial in patients. And I think that's very good, actually. I like the level of ambition, but that is the time that it takes. So to summarize, in the short term, if you're looking for the funding, what kind of data can we expect? We can expect the data from the clinical trial in healthy volunteers that we're finishing now in the autumn, and the first information, at least, regarding the clinical trial in patients. And for those that are particularly interested in this particular clinical trial, which is really the icing on the cake, go to since it's sponsored and funded by the Innovation Fund Denmark. It's run in a clinic in Glostrup in Center for Neuropsychiatric Research. Go to the Innovation Fund Denmark, IFD, on the web. They have a very nice website, and there put in the name of the project. It's called Totems, TOTEMS, on the search engine there, and you can find all the press releases, actually, the information about this particular trial, timelines, and so on that website. So, which I think it's a very good one. It's of course a very big clap on the shoulder that now Gabather is in a phase 2 clinical trial in patients that is funded via an outside entity in its entirety. So it's not only the competence, but also the financial backing for this trial. And Gabather is, of course, very much active, involved in this. We are participating in the design of the clinical trial. We, of course, giving the drug, the pharmaceutical background and know-how and so on. So these are roughly the timelines for the key activities regarding the end of the healthy volunteer trials and the data on EEG and fMRI in the autumn, the beginning of the clinical trial in patients in Denmark. As we speak, actually, it's ongoing with the design. These are the key points for the timelines, and the use of funds is related to this. What we want to do with the funds is in the next short term to get, of course, a lot of business development, i.e. looking for partner activity at Gabather. So 2 meetings in the autumn, I think, were actually key, which are Nordic Life Science Days in September, and then there's a very big meeting, Bio Europe, which is the biggest of the kinds, in November in Stockholm. I think by then we will have all the data, and hopefully we can make a big impact there. It's a very interesting platform for us. This is the kind of activities that want to use the funds mainly within the short-term range, and of course continue the clinical trials. In particular in Denmark, since the other ones are being analyzed and finished. So these are the rough timeline schedules for the short and medium term for Gabather. That is what we want to use the funds for. And I've written down here, just in between one of the questions again. Hey, Owen, by the way, are you participating in this funding activity? And yes, the answer is yes. Of course, I am. I'm participating above what I am. Can participate on a priority as a ex-shareholder. So of course I am doing that. So just to get this question out of the way, because I absolutely do believe in Gabather and the project. Been working this for almost 8 years now. So of course I do, and I want to continue. And I think that we're sailing into the next time. If I look at the clinical trial data coming out and then the clinical trial in patients starting, the amount of positive information that can come in the next months, half a year, is of course good. It's interesting. I believe in it. Finally, I would like to round up with a bottom line. If what is my opinion and my pitch into the Gabather. If you look at the challenges, the issues that we have, it's a very challenging environment for getting outside funding. I've been in that arena for the last many months. It's not easy. Everybody will tell you that the investment climate is not exactly the best, which I interpret, well, then it can only get better. So I'm not too pessimistic about that, but it's been quite difficult. On the other hand, always remember that the core of Gabather, the key of Gabather, the essence of our activity is our clinical candidates, and in particular GT002, which is very healthy, very exciting, and very interesting. The bottom line is this is a safe drug candidate that can be potentially used to treat certain symptoms within mental health and central nervous system disorders in general, and we have a whole pipeline to back it up. So I always, when sometimes times are challenging, focus on that. That is the core activity, and that is the one that I want to keep going in the with the funding exercise that we're doing now, and the funding exercises we've done in the back. I know many people have invested a lot, but I think there's a lot still that one can get out of Gabather. This is my personal opinion and my pitch for Gabather, to give you where is my sort of status and update on how I see the situation regarding this particular time at Gabather. And the new emission ends in next week, August 12th. And I hope to be able to give you a positive update after next week, once we know how much we have in our war chest, so to speak, because then we can also see what activities we can prioritize. Because at the end of the day, remember, Gabather is still a bench to bedside company, so I have a lot of compounds, or a number of compounds that are very interesting in our pipeline, which I couldn't prioritize because of the funding situation. I have to always be rather specific and selective with how do we use the resources that we have at Gabather. So I hope this has given you a little bit of a background, of an update of where we stand at Gabather right now. And as I said, hope to give you the next update sooner as promised, and hopefully also positive after the end of next week. Thank you.